Hello all. Today I have Mr. Tejas Patel with me to talk about the impact of the current situation on international students and temporary visa holders. Tejas is a registered migration agent based in Adelaide with Aussizz Group. He is a qualified education counselor through QEAC, working in the industry since 2012. So welcome, TJ.
Thank you. Thank you, Grant.
TJ, as we know, the current situation has thrown a lot of questions around students and temporary visas in Australia. I would like to know from you, what are the major concerns at the moment?
Look, from the international students' perspective, obviously the major concerns from most of the students are the situation back home. So a lot of students are facing hard times here in Australia because of the lockdowns, but their parents or the relatives back home are also facing the similar situation back in Nepal, back in India, back in Pakistan, or any subcontinent or Asian countries. So we are dealing with a situation where both the countries are going through the same time. So every student is facing, not only just financial issues, but they're also facing the mental issues as well. Because of that mental support they normally get from their parents, that okay, you go and study and we look after the rest. But at this point of time, the parents are also suffering back home. So we are in a totally different situation at the moment.
How is COVID-19 situation impacting the international students? What are the kind of things that you are hearing from students at the moment?
Obviously, the major concern is their well-being, the safety around the health crisis. The second thing is also financial issues. A lot of students are struggling to pay their bills or the fees and stuff because the bankings are stopped in their home country as well. So a lot of countries are in the lockdown, so which means even the essentials bankings are not going through as normal as it should be. So students are facing issue in terms of getting money from overseas as well to pay the fees. That's some of the feedback I've been hearing from the students as well. Then also students not being able to connect with their parents or relatives back home as well because of the lockdowns or XYZ reason. So all these factors are creating a situation where student can create more problems, like it can be a psychological problem as well. So that is absolutely a new challenge we are seeing, which we haven't seen in the past.
What are the issues in terms of visas and extension of student visas or temporary visas? Are there any problems happening with those, or it's all fine at the moment?
In terms of the department's point of view, the processing is going as normal, but again, the students are not being able to complete the medical checkups, which is holding all the visa grants, because again, health requirements is also part of the visa processing. So Bupa is not being able to complete the medical checkups because of these COVID-19 issues, which is delaying the all major visas like student visas, the graduate visas, or even the permanent residency visas as well. So that is creating an issue in terms of large backlogs of the number of visas on hand for the department to process, because they cannot process without the medical checkup. And Bupa is going through that process to restart the medical checkups and stuff as well. But there are a large number of students whose visas are expiring either in coming June, or who have already applied for the visas in February, March, because the visas were expiring in February. Now, if they can't do the medical, they cannot get the visa granted, and that is creating an issue that we have got quite a few number of students who are still waiting for the visa grants after 3 months, 4 months, some cases 5 months as well.
Okay, well, that's quite a hassle for students as well. So at this moment, it's impacting everyone at the moment. So do you think the response of the government and universities have been adequate?
Look, in terms of the response, obviously, it's not always enough in this kind of situation. Obviously, everyone's trying the best. From the university's point of view, obviously, every universities have announced different packages and different level of support. But to be honest, all universities needs to come up together and create a strong plan, because it's going to be impacting the whole education industry. It's third largest industry in Australia for export. And when I talk about Adelaide, it's largest industry in Australia, South Australia at the moment, the export of education. So obviously, it's a massive industry. It's going to impact a big job loss if not managed well. So from universities' point of view to support, obviously every universities have announced, most of the universities have already started the support packages and stuff. But there could be more from the government as well. There could be more in terms of the assistance in a support level. because not every student might be going through the financial issues. There will be students who are required a mental support in terms of, someone to speak with, someone to discuss the problems and stuff as well, because the parents or the friends or family back home are going through the same lockdown situation back home as well. So we are facing different kind of challenges. So to be honest, there should be a task force which identify the key challenges or the key issues the international students are facing and address those issues, because we need to look after them as a part of our community, and that's very much important for our future jobs, future growth, everything.
That's quite true. So in the same vein, I would like to ask another question is, what corporate responsibilities are of private companies around the international students during this time?
Absolutely. Look, every company should play their role in terms of corporate responsibilities. I've seen a few companies announcing different ways of assistance. So either through rental assistance or through job assistance or XYZ. But in terms of the corporate or corporations, obviously they should be playing key important part in this kind of situation, where they can either offer them additional employment by creating some extra roles, even if it's not required. To be honest, obviously they can shell out some extra budget on those if they can do that on the books and accounts. That will help the economy. Plus, they should be playing their role in terms of distribution of the foods or any essentials to the people who are in need. Because we have to keep in mind, not everyone will be eligible for the welfare payments decided by the department or decided by the government. There are close to 2 million people in Australia who are on a temporary visas, including students. They're not going to get any kind of welfare payments. I'm not saying they should be getting, or I'm not commenting on that, but they need some kind of support. So either through state agencies or through universities or through NGOs and stuff. We can see that the government has started doing that already, but obviously we need to do more.
So how is Aussizz, trying to help the students? And what do you think, how we can fight and overcome this particular situation?
Look, from our company's point of view, obviously there are few initiatives we are already doing. Number one is obviously throughout Australia or overseas, we are committed to keep our staff. That is one of the biggest commitment most of our directors have made. So if you look at the Australian offices, we have 10 offices, more than 200 staff. So even if the work slows down, we are committed that at least certain period of time we'll not be looking at reduction of the staff. That is one of the major community commitment we are doing, even though the business might take a hit through this up and down and stuff. Second thing is obviously we are doing state-wise, every offices are doing a different level of campaigns. So when I talk about in South Australia itself, so we are doing a couple of campaigns here where we are supporting around 270 international students through the weekly fruit and bread and different food packages. So we have announced that we'll be doing for next 6 weeks. We already finished that for 3 weeks. So we are still doing that next 3 weeks, and then we'll see how the situation is. As of day before yesterday, the state government in South Australia announced around $13.8 million announcement for the international students. So that should help some of the students. Already we are helping. So we'll see how we go in terms of next 3 weeks activity, and if required, then we'll do some more. And then the second initiative here in Adelaide we are doing is also we are working with some of the restaurants. So we are funding them a bit of money every week, different restaurants, and just trying to retain their staff, give that food to someone who is in need, either international student or any local or any TR holders or any visa holders who are going through the hard time. So that way we are trying to support the local economy as well. So these are the two initiatives we are doing in Adelaide itself. When we talk about how to overcome this situation, is obviously everyone will have to play their role in terms of following the guidelines or playing the role to boost up the economy once the lockdowns are open up. To be honest, we have to work hard to get back to the phase we were in last quarter. Because if you see the financial balances, it will go up and down. They have to work hard. Everyone will have to play the role. That's very much important. Yeah,
it's quite true, TJ, and I hope what you're doing in terms of your initiatives that you're taking in Adelaide, it is, I'm sure it is being appreciated by the community and everyone. Thanks for joining us today, and it was really good to talk to you, and we'll continue our discussion with others as well to talk about the impact of COVID-19 on the community.
Thank you, Vikrajji. Thank you.